Let's start with a scenario. And I think, a lot of you listening are probably going to feel this one in your bones.
Hmm.
You've just landed. It's a business trip, but it's not a quick one, not in and out. You're there for a big project, maybe a consultancy gig.
The long haul.
Exactly. You're looking at, say, 3 weeks, maybe 2 months on the ground. You swipe your key card, you open the door to your hotel room, drop your bag, and just silence.
Oh, that is a specific kind of silence, isn't it? The deafening silence of the standard corporate suite.
Right. It's clean. It's, perfectly adequate. The bed is made. There's a coffee maker. But then it hits you. This beige box is your entire world for the next 60 days. And suddenly, adequate feels, well, pretty depressing.
It's the difference between a sprint and a marathon. A standard hotel room is really designed for efficiency, get in, sleep, get out. It's a transaction.
It's just a transaction, yeah.
But when you extend that timeline, the psychology changes completely. You stop looking for efficiency and you start craving, I don't know, sense of grounding. If you don't feel grounded in your environment, your cognitive load it goes up. You're sort of fighting the room instead of living in it.
Which brings us right to the core of today's deep dive. We are looking at this evolution of staying versus living.
A huge distinction.
It is. And specifically, we're unpacking how the hospitality industry is trying to, well, monetize that difference. And to guide us, we're digging into the files from moveandstay.com.
A very relevant lens for this particular topic.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're a regular listener or a frequent flyer, you probably already know Move and Stay. They've been the heavy lifters in this space for over 25 years.
A quarter of a century. That's a long time in this business.
It is. And they aren't just an aggregator. They really specialize in these extended stay solutions, mostly across the Asia-Pacific region. So we're talking serviced apartments, corporate housing, serviced offices, basically the entire infrastructure for the global workforce.
And because they've been at it for so long, they have this massive amount of data on what professionals actually want. They see this shift away from the generic hotel.
Right.
And towards spaces that offer a bit more autonomy. They connect entrepreneurs and corporate teams with places where you can actually, exhale at the end of a long day.
So using that Move and Stay ecosystem as our backdrop, we're zooming in on one specific case study today that I think just perfectly illustrates where this industry is headed.
Okay.
We are talking about Lanson Place Hospitality Management Limited.
Lanson Place. Yeah, that's a fascinating choice. I mean, if you look at the whole hospitality landscape, you've got hotels on one side, high service, small rooms, and then maybe Airbnb or apartments on the other, more space, but zero service.
Right, the two extremes.
Exactly. And Lanson Place seems to be betting the farm on the idea that they can occupy that exact middle ground, the serviced residence that actually feels like a luxury home.
And we've got a stack of source material here covering a pretty incredible sweep of awards they picked up back in 2020. And a roadmap for a very aggressive expansion into Australia and Manila.
And the timing of those awards, 2020, that's not insignificant.
No, it is not. That was the year the world basically stopped. The hospitality industry was, effectively on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, looking at these reports, Lanson Place didn't just survive, they were raking in hardware.
Which suggests their value proposition is resilient. But before we get to the expansion, and I know you want to talk about that historic building in Melbourne.
I really do.
We need to look at the foundation first. You just don't launch a cross-continental expansion unless your home turf is absolutely rock solid.
Okay, let's unpack the excellence part first. We're looking at Hong Kong and Kuala Lumpur. Where should we start?
Let's start with Hong Kong. The Lanson Place Hotel won Luxury Design Hotel at the World Luxury Hotel Awards.
Okay, luxury design hotel. I have to play devil's advocate here for a second. Does a business traveler who is, grinding out 14-hour days actually care about design? Or is that just marketing fluff?
It sounds like fluff until you are the one staying there.
Yeah.
I mean, the utilitarian argument is that business travelers just want good Wi-Fi and a blackout curtain.
That's it.
But the data and Move and Stay's user profiles would back this up, suggests that environment dictates your mood. If you're living in a sterile white box for 6 weeks, it feels clinical. It feels temporary.
It feels like a hospital room with a minibar.
Exactly. Design, in this context, what winning that award actually signifies is about texture, lighting, art, flow. It's about visual stimulation. It's the difference between feeling like you're in a storage unit for humans versus a curated apartment. It's really about mental sustainability.
So the aesthetic actually functions as a retention tool. 100%.
Yeah.
If you feel good in the space, you stay longer, and you come back next time. And look at their other Hong Kong property, the waterfront suites. They took home luxury boutique service departments. Boutique. Okay, there's another word that gets thrown around a lot. In the context of a service department, does that just mean small?
It implies scale, sure, but it's really more about the service model.
Mm-hmm.
The antithesis of boutique is corporate chain.
Okay.
In a massive chain, you are a room number. In a boutique setting, the premise is intimacy. The concierge knows your name, they know you have a peanut allergy, they know you need your dry cleaning picked up on Tuesdays.
Yeah, it's operationalizing empathy.
That's a great way to put it. And that is incredibly hard to scale. So winning a boutique award suggests they figured out how to deliver that high-touch service consistently, which is usually the first thing to break down in a larger operation.
Okay, let's hop over to Malaysia. Because the notes on the Kuala Lumpur property, the Lanson Place Bukit Ceylon service residences, are, honestly, they're kind of ridiculous. They didn't just win one, they pulled a hat trick.
A trifecta, yes. Luxury contemporary service departments, the best luxury hotels in Malaysia, and Malaysia's leading service departments.
I want to pause on that middle one. Best luxury hotels. They are a service residence, but they're competing against traditional luxury hotels and winning.
That is the blurring of the lines we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
They're offering the hardware of an apartment, kitchens, living rooms, but the software of a five-star hotel.
But here is the detail that jumped out at me, and I highlighted this in neon yellow in the notes. The third award, Malaysia's leading service departments from the World Travel Awards.
Mm-hmm.
They won it for the 4th consecutive year.
That, to me, is the single most important data point in this entire deep dive.
Really? Why does that matter more than the others?
Because anyone can have a good year. Anyone can have a flashy opening where everything is new and perfect. But in hospitality, entropy is the enemy.
Things break.
Carpets get stained, staff turnover happens, management gets complacent, the HVAC starts to rattle. To win a leading award 4 years in a row implies a rigorous, almost military-grade adherence to standards.
Wow.
It means they are fighting entropy and winning every single day.
It's the difference between a one-hit wonder and a band that sells out stadiums for 20 years.
Precisely. If I'm a corporate travel manager and I'm using Move and Stay to book housing for my VP of operations, I'm risk-averse. I don't want some cool new spot that might have plumbing issues.
Sure. You want a guarantee.
I want a guarantee. 4 years of consecutive awards is a guarantee. It signals operational maturity.
So we've established they have the design chops in Hong Kong and the operational consistency in KL. That's the foundation. Now, I want to look at the map. Where exactly are they playing?
It's a very specific curated footprint. They aren't trying to be everywhere. They're currently managing 9 properties in key hubs: Shanghai, Chengdu, Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, and Hong Kong.
It reads like the greatest hits of Asian commerce.
It is. But look closer at the location strategy mentioned in the source material. It says they target prime locations near, and I'm quoting here, business districts and vibrant entertainment hubs.
Which usually just means expensive real estate.
It does. But I call this the work-life integration strategy. Think about the old-school corporate housing model. It was often stuck in these dull business parks or purely residential zones that were just dead at night.
Oh, I've been there. Where your only dinner option after 8 p.m. is a vending machine or a sad sandwich from a gas station.
Exactly. Lanson Place puts you right on the edge. You walk 10 minutes one way, you're at the office tower, you walk 10 minutes the other way, and you're in district with jazz bars, street food, and galleries.
So you don't feel isolated. You actually feel like a citizen of the city.
And for a 3-month assignment, that is the difference between burnout and actually enjoying the posting. Move-in stay users are often looking for that exact balance, connectivity to work, but also connectivity to life.
Okay, so they've conquered the Asian hubs. They have the formula. Now let's talk about the risk, because the headline here is the expansion. They are moving into Australia.
September.
Melbourne!
This is a big pivot. Going from Asian markets to a Western market like Australia, that isn't always a slam dunk. The cultural expectations are different.
Oh, the service culture is drastically different. The Asian hospitality model is very anticipatory, very invisible, very high hierarchy. That sometimes clashes with the Australian egalitarian, mateship, no worries style of service.
No worries, mate.
Exactly. So translating that high-touch service into the Australian labor market, that will be their biggest operational challenge. But looking at the project details, they seem to be leaning into the asset itself as the differentiator.
What do you mean?
They aren't just building another glass tower. No, and this is the part I love. The notes say they are transforming a historic building.
I knew you'd latch onto that.
How can I not? Adaptive reuse is just cool, but from a business standpoint, isn't that a total nightmare?
Oh, that's a headache. A massive headache.
So why do it then? Why not just build a shiny new box?
Because you can't build soul. Taking a historic building involves massive complexity. You've got heritage constraints, old wiring, weird floor plans, soundproofing issues. It is a capital expenditure beast.
But the payoff.
The payoff is immediate character. It fits that luxury boutique narrative we were just talking about.
Perfectly.
In a market that's flooded with generic glass condos, a historic building gives you instant brand equity. You get high ceilings, maybe some exposed brick, arched windows. It implies a story.
And Melbourne feels like the right city for that kind of project.
It really is. Melbourne is often called the cultural capital of Australia. It has that European texture, the laneways, the coffee culture. A historic property fits the Melbourne vibe much better than it might in, say, the Gold Coast or even parts of Sydney.
The source text calls this Melbourne property a strategic launch pad. That phrase implies they aren't stopping at one.
No, they're building a bridgehead. The goal is likely to prove the concept in Melbourne and then expand from there. It's all about capturing the regional nomad.
The person who rotates between Singapore, Hong Kong, and Sydney for work.
Correct. If you are a multinational corporation, you want one vendor. You want to say, okay, our team is moving from Shanghai to Melbourne, put them in a Lanson property because we know what we're getting. They're building a network effect.
And they aren't ignoring the emerging markets either. We see Manila is on the roadmap for 2022.
Manila's a smart play, though a different one. The business districts there, Makati, BGC, are absolutely booming. And frankly, the demand for high-quality, secure, luxury long-stay accommodation exceeds the supply. It's a high-growth market compared to the mature market of Melbourne.
So they are balancing the portfolio. High-yield growth in Manila, prestige and brand equity in Melbourne.
It's a classic diversified strategy. And for a platform like moveandstay.com, this is great news. It means they can offer their clients a consistent quality tier across a much wider geographic spread.
So let's pull this all together. We have a brand that has proven it can deliver home comforts with hotel luxury through these consistent award wins. They are now taking that show on the road to Australia and the Philippines. What's the big takeaway here for our listener? Maybe they're an entrepreneur, maybe they're a corporate travel planner.
I think it signals the maturation of the service department sector. I mean, 10 or 15 years ago, a service department was the budget option. It was utilitarian. It was where you stayed if you couldn't afford the hotel.
Right, it was the economy class of long-term stays.
Exactly. Now, thanks to operators like Lanson Place raising the bar, it's becoming the aspirational option. It's no longer just about having a kitchenette and saving money on laundry.
It's about having a curated lifestyle.
It's the hotelification of the home. You get the design, the concierge, the status of a boutique hotel, but you also get the space and the autonomy of an apartment.
It puts a lot of pressure on the rest of the market, doesn't it? If I'm a competitor listing on Move and Stay and I see Lanson Place winning leading serviced apartment 4 years running and opening these cool historic buildings, I have to step up my game.
Absolutely. The days of putting a beige sofa in a generic condo and calling it a corporate suite are ending. The consumer is just too sophisticated now. They demand an experience even when they're working.
I think that's the key insight. We demand an experience even when we are working. We don't just pause our lives because we're on assignment.
We want to live, not just stay.
So, here is a thought to leave you with as you head into your next trip. As we see this convergence, hotels trying to be more like homes and homes trying to be more like hotels, and as business travel becomes more about these month-long stints, are we seeing the end of the standard hotel room?
For business travel, I think the 25 square meter room with a bed and a desk, I think it's becoming an endangered species.
I think you might be right. We want the story, we want the history, and we want the space.
And the awards prove we're willing to pay for it.
Indeed. Well, thanks for unpacking all this with us. If you want to see what award-winning actually looks like, or if you need to book a stay in KL, HK, or soon Melbourne, you can head over to moveandstay.com. They've been connecting professionals with these kinds of places for over 25 years, so you're in good hands.
Always a pleasure.
Take care, everyone.